The Midnight Academy stood as a sanctuary for those gifted with shadow manipulation, an ancient art passed down through whispers and oaths. Hidden in the remote highlands, the academy was cloaked in mist, its towering spires reaching up to pierce the night sky, veiled in an ever-present shroud of mystery. Riven, a new student, arrived with a mix of awe and trepidation. Shadows seemed to pulse around the academy as if alive, responding to the faintest whisper of intent. Yet, there was a distinct chill, as though each shadow held memories unspoken, secrets carefully guarded. Riven's first night was filled with the academy's chilling yet mesmerizing presence. The vast hallways were lined with portraits of past shadow wielders, their eyes seeming to follow each student's movement. Callista, a seasoned member of the Covenant and known for her mastery over shadows, quickly noticed Riven's presence. She greeted him with a knowing smile, her silver eyes betraying wisdom beyond her years. As she guided him through the Academy's hidden passages, she shared legends of the Covenant's founders, speaking of oaths sworn under moonlight and powers that came at great cost. During their conversation, Callista warned Riven of the unspoken rule that governed the Midnight Academy: never question the Headmaster's intentions. The Headmaster was both revered and feared, a figure who held sway over every shadow within the Academy. Riven felt an unease settle within him, sensing that this figure held a power far beyond that of an ordinary instructor. The unbreakable loyalty of the Covenant members towards him was palpable, yet an intangible tension hovered around his name, as if fear itself resided in the shadows at his command. As days turned to weeks, Riven grew closer to Mara and Arik, two other students who shared his curiosity about the Academy's mysteries. Mara was a daring spirit, known for challenging authority with an inquisitive gaze, while Arik was more reserved, often lost in study. Together, they explored the Academy's many forgotten corridors, daring to venture where shadows lingered longer and whispers of the past grew louder. They discovered ancient texts, hidden alcoves, and faded portraits with faces strangely similar to present students, fueling a growing suspicion about the Academy's purpose. One evening, after a grueling lesson on shadow manipulation, Riven found himself lingering in the library, drawn to an ancient tome encased in glass. The book seemed to hum with an energy that called to him, its cover adorned with a symbol Riven had seen only in passing, a serpent devouring its own tail, the mark of unbroken oaths. As he traced his fingers along the glass, a chill ran through him, and a shadow on the wall seemed to shift, forming the faint outline of a face. It whispered his name, a warning that left him unsettled yet irresistibly drawn to uncover the Academy's hidden truths. Riven, Mara and Arik quickly formed a bond over their shared curiosity and cautious skepticism of the Academy's teachings. As they honed their abilities, they discovered that shadow magic was more than mere manipulation. It demanded respect and understanding, almost as if the shadows themselves were alive. The more they learned, the more questions arose, questions the instructors avoided answering. Mara, with her fearless nature, urged them deeper into the Academy's lore, suspecting that the Midnight Academy held secrets even beyond the reach of its students. Their suspicions grew when Callista, usually confident and composed, began acting unusually wary around the Headmaster. During an advanced lesson, she cast subtle glances towards him, as though sensing a hidden threat. Riven noticed a flicker of fear in her eyes, a rare vulnerability that unsettled him. Later, Callista warned the group to be cautious, emphasizing that loyalty to the Academy was paramount, but her words felt hollow. The bond between teacher and student strained, especially as the Headmaster's eyes followed them with an intensity that felt more than mere oversight. Driven by Mara's insatiable curiosity, the trio began sneaking into restricted sections of the Academy, uncovering fragments of forbidden knowledge. Old journals hinted at a shadowy past, one where students who excelled mysteriously disappeared upon graduation. Arik, usually reserved, found himself drawn to a journal detailing a pact between the Academy and a long-forgotten order, a covenant sworn to protect humanity from creatures of darkness. Yet, a chilling note suggested the Academy's methods had diverged, that its leaders had begun sacrificing knowledge for control. Riven's doubts deepened as he realized that the Academy's shadows often acted independently, guiding or misguiding students at their whim. One night, while exploring the catacombs beneath the Academy with Mara and Arik, Riven encountered a shadow that seemed almost human, its shape reminiscent of an old mentor from his childhood. The shadow whispered warnings of betrayal, hinting that the headmaster was not who he appeared to be. This haunting revelation added urgency to their search for the truth, as they feared that the headmaster might be hiding more than mere secrets. Back in the library, Riven and his friends uncovered a chilling prophecy etched into an ancient wall. The oath binds the shadows. Broken, they consume their master. The cryptic message weighed heavily on them. Could it be a warning of the headmaster's fate, or something more sinister? As they stared at the prophecy, a familiar presence emerged behind them. It was Callista, her expression grave, eyes flickering with sorrow and fear. She implored them to trust no one, hinting that the very shadows they controlled might be more treacherous than they could imagine. The shadows grew restless as the trio's discoveries deepened. During a clandestine meeting with Callista, she revealed a terrible truth. The headmaster had been manipulating students for years, drawing on their power to enhance his own abilities. His ultimate goal, she whispered, was to harness the Covenant's shadows to merge himself with the very fabric of the Academy, ensuring an eternal rule and complete control. Riven's heart raced, torn between disbelief and a profound sense of betrayal. He knew they couldn't confront the headmaster alone, but felt compelled to put an end to his dark plans. In a desperate attempt to gather allies, Riven, Mara and Arik reached out to other students, revealing the headmaster's scheme. The Academy erupted in whispers and glances cast in dim corridors, where the shadows seemed to hang a little longer, as though waiting. Fear grew among them, but a fire was kindled, and many joined the cause, vowing to reclaim their power from the headmaster's grasp. Callista provided guidance, instructing them in the ancient techniques that bound shadows, warning them that such spells would only weaken him briefly, leaving the rest to courage and skill. Under the cover of night, the students gathered in the Academy's grand hall, an eerie silence enveloping them as they prepared to confront the headmaster. Shadows coiled around them, a mix of familiar shapes and twisting forms hinting at allies or enemies hidden in plain sight. The headmaster arrived with an unnatural calm, his form cloaked in shadow, eyes glowing with an unsettling power. He taunted the students, reminding them of their oaths, binding them to the Academy and to him. Riven felt a wave of doubt, but Mara's fierce gaze brought him back, grounding him in the moment. The battle erupted in a flurry of shadows, magic, and whispered incantations. Riven and his allies struggled against the headmaster's control, their shadows warring with his in a dizzying dance of light and darkness. As they fought, the headmaster's voice rang out, revealing how each student's shadow was bound to his will, feeding him strength with every spell they cast. The students grew weaker, their shadows drawn closer to him like moths to a flame. Desperation clawed at them, but Callista urged them on, channeling her own power in a last-ditch attempt to sever his connection to the shadows. In a surge of strength, Riven called upon the prophecy they had uncovered. The oath binds the shadows. Broken, they consume their master. He recited it aloud, his voice rising over the clamour. With a final push, the students shattered their bonds, the severed oaths releasing their shadows from the headmaster's control. The shadows turned on him, coiling around him as his power backfired. The headmaster's scream echoed through the Academy as he was engulfed by the very shadows he had sought to command, leaving only a faint whisper as the darkness swallowed him whole. As the headmaster's scream faded, a heavy silence fell over the Midnight Academy. Shadows that had fought fiercely now hovered, uncertain, around the students, their forms dissolving into softer, harmless shapes. Riven, Mara and Arik stood in the grand hall, their breaths heavy and eyes wide, trying to process the finality of what had just transpired. Callista approached them, her face a mixture of sorrow and relief. The students' shadows, now free, moved independently but no longer held the same ominous force. Instead, they felt more like extensions of themselves, companions rather than chains. The academy itself seemed to breathe, walls and corridors shifting subtly, as though relieved of a great burden. Without the headmaster's oppressive influence, the Midnight Academy revealed parts of itself that had long been hidden. Rooms thought to be locked forever opened on their own, revealing lost tomes, portraits of past students, and secrets sealed away. Mara led the others through these newly revealed passages, marvelling at the relics and forgotten artifacts that held the Academy's true history. It was as though the building was acknowledging their bravery, rewarding them with knowledge once hidden. However, not all was well. The Shadows' rebellion had shaken the Covenant's very foundation. The students who had been loyal to the Headmaster felt lost, their purpose fractured, and a sense of betrayal seeped through the Academy. Callista took on the role of comforting and guiding them, assuring them that their power would now be used to protect rather than control. In a quiet moment with Riven, she admitted her own guilt, confessing that she had once admired the Headmaster before realizing the depths of his deceit. The betrayal left scars, but she believed the Academy could begin anew. As they navigated the halls, Riven noticed something unusual, strange flickers in the walls and mirrors where the Headmaster's influence had been strongest. It was as if his essence had left traces, lingering like a dark memory. He shared his concerns with Callista, and together they decided to perform a ritual to cleanse the Academy, hoping to prevent any remnants of the Headmaster's power from reawakening. The ritual was solemn, with every student gathered in the main hall, chanting to release any residual energy and restore balance to their sacred space. The ritual completed, the Academy returned to a peaceful, almost tranquil state, yet there was an unspoken understanding among the students. They knew the battle had changed them, not only in their mastery of shadows but in their understanding of power and loyalty. As the final shadows dispersed, Riven looked at Mara and Arik, their eyes meeting with a mix of exhaustion and pride. They had uncovered the truth, defied an oppressive force, and reclaimed their identities. Together, they pledged to rebuild the Midnight Academy, honouring its legacy while ensuring no shadows would ever again bind them against their will. With the ritual complete, a palpable peace settled over the Midnight Academy, one that had been missing for as long as any could remember. Shadows drifted through the halls, softer now, their edges blurred and their forms no longer oppressive. Riven felt an unfamiliar sense of calm as he looked around, realizing that the Academy, once a place of secrets and fear, now felt like a sanctuary, a place where students could master their abilities without the weight of hidden agendas. The change brought hope, mingling with a renewed sense of purpose among the students. In the days that followed, Callista assumed temporary leadership, guiding the students in the Academy's restructuring. She encouraged openness and honesty, reminding everyone that the Oath of Shadows was no longer a binding chain, but a shared trust. Mara and Arik stepped up, helping their peers find a balance between power and freedom, and working to dismantle any lingering fears from the Headmaster's reign. Together, they vowed to honour the Academy's legacy, while ensuring that it became a place of unity, not control. As the Academy found its new rhythm, Riven often returned to the library, drawn back to the ancient tome that had first whispered secrets of betrayal. Each time, he felt a profound connection to the Academy's history, aware that he was part of a lineage that would reshape its future. One evening, he noticed the serpent symbol on the tome glowing faintly, as though acknowledging his efforts. The symbol reminded him of their journey, a silent promise that they would protect the Academy from future threats while honouring the trials they had endured. Under Callista's watchful guidance, the Midnight Academy was reborn, The students began to weave new spells and techniques, not from a place of fear, but one of trust. Shadows became allies, tools of protection and exploration, no longer linked to the oppressive oaths of the past. The students trained openly, sharing knowledge and learning from each other. The halls, once dim and foreboding, seemed to brighten, bathed in the glow of unity and shared purpose. The Academy's transformation was a testament to their strength and the resilience they had found in one another. On the final day of the term, Riven stood in the grand hall, watching the new students arrive. He felt a sense of pride as he saw their wonder and excitement, reminded of his own first day. Yet, as he looked around, he knew that this was a different place now, a sanctuary for those who sought mastery without the shadows of betrayal. As he turned to leave, a faint echo of the headmaster's voice drifted through the hall, but this time it held no power. The Midnight Academy was free, and with it, Riven and his friends had secured a legacy built on trust and the promise of a brighter future.